Hello everyone, it's Mohammed from Iran. It's been around 17 years that I've been traveling around the world and around my country. And since 15 years ago, I started working as a tour guide for tourists who used to come to Iran to weather the cradle of civilization. And around 10 years ago, I started my company in order to provide services to inbound tourists who used to come to a cultural destination. After 10 years of working as a businessman, I should say that now I am the president of Tourism Commission of Iran at the Chamber of Commerce, also the ambassador of World Food Travel Association, and the founding member of Creative Development Club of UNESCO. Since last year, I have the honor to interview 27 tourism experts all around the world. For example, Mr. Chris Flynn, the president of WTACH, Mr. Eric Wolf, the president of WFTA, Mr. Fergus McLaren, the president of ICOMOS, and some other ones, in order to connecting cultures and reinventing heritage. And this is what I love to do. When we talk about cultural heritage, the most important issue is that for a person like me who lives in Iran, it is rather heritage. We're talking about culture, we're talking about civilization, and we need to know the nation who we inherited them. The first idea is that we should know our history in order to have the power to create our future. And when we need to know our history, we need to go into details. When we go into cultural heritage sites, when we go into tangible heritage attractions, we can understand that what happened 3,000 years ago, 2,500 years ago, rather than seeing the sites, rather than working as a tourist, we need to discover the ideas, and this is the most important issue. Let me share the idea about the cultural destinations, that how they should lead their audiences to research. The first point is that they should be real, they should be authentic. Do not exaggerate about your destinations. Another idea is that do not just work on your tangible cultural heritage, but also let's work on your intangible cultural heritage ideas. Another point is here that I'm just going to ask tourists, whenever they're supposed to go to a cultural destination, let's think about what they can take with themselves into their own countries. It's not photos. It's not memories. This is the idea of the lifestyle of the people who live in this nation. And this is the most important cultural issues that tourists needs to find, rather research, to investigate about in this nation. Thank you. Cultural destinations are the ones who have shaped societies earlier in time. And when we talk about communities, it means we need to find our synergies and common points to understand what we can do with each other in order to understand each other better. The most important issue in this question is here that if you're supposed to have cultural communities, we need to know ourselves better. We need to connect nations, and we need to let destinations to reinvent themselves. How? By weathering them and by letting them withering us. Step by step, especially at this hot situation, we should give the ideas to cultural tourists and to cultural communities that the most important issue that nowadays we need is cultural synergies. The first point that COVID-19 proved is that we need to take ourselves as a part of nature, not the controller of the nature. So this is what people did since thousands of years ago to now. If we are supposed to overcome COVID-19 in tourism industries, at first we need to be real. The second idea is that we need to focus on ecocultural sites. For example, in my country, we have Hyrcanian forests and Lut deserts. We should combine cultural sites with eco versions in order to provide safety for the ones who are supposed to visit. And after that, we need to make our governments show that tourism industries is the industry of future, is the only industry in the world which is human-based rather than the other ones, and they should invest on that. Thank you. Since 5 years ago, we've been talking about SDGs. We've been talking about rural tourism, urban tourism. We've been talking about experiential tourism, slow tourism, creative tourism. All of them in a single word means that let's boost local areas and local people. Because if you don't help local people, it's impossible to have growth for a destination, to improve themselves and tourism industry in the world. Because most of the times we sacrifice local people to investors. But after a short period of time, we miss the human capitals. And when you don't have human capitals, when you don't have human resource, you have nothing to do in a destination.